Put my chick inside some Louis and some Valentino. Put my bro inside some Gucci and some Moschino. They want my money like it's a casino.
Yeah, no, it's good to see that you want to give out knowledge and just share it to the world.
Yes.
Why? I feel like in our generation, a lot of people want to keep stuff to themselves. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to put no one on. Did you get put on, or how did you?
No. So it's a pretty long story actually. So I'm just gonna tell you like a quick backstory. Yeah. So I started when I was 16. Started off pretty much getting scammed. You know, I was on Instagram, saw the adverts of like signals and stuff. So that's pretty much how I got started. So deposited 500 with my mom's credit card, and I pretty much lost it. And then, funny enough, after that, I got into IML.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not a lot of people know that, but a lot of people from my school know that because I was trying to put them on as well. Yeah. So me and my boy, we started IML together. We got kind of drawn into, you know, how they work. But the thing is, I'm not gonna bash them too much because I think I developed myself a lot mentally just from being there, because they teach you a lot in terms of networking, the mindset, the discipline, which is what you need essentially, and what school doesn't really teach you. So I'm grateful for that knowledge that it gave me. But in terms of training, it didn't really help too much. Yeah. I'm pretty much all self-taught.
Did you get any hate for being in ML?
No, back then it was like, it was 4 years ago. It was like it was calm. It was like there was not hate. There was not a lot of as much as hate. But now there's like it's like a meme right now, pretty much. Like it's like if you IML, like just leave me alone. But like so that's pretty much how it was back then. So I would just.
What country are you from?
Originally, like ethnicity, China.
China. Oh, okay. What did you born here?
Born here. Okay. Born here. Born in London. Been here my whole life, pretty much.
Okay. That's good.
So yeah, carrying on with that story. So I pretty much just got into FX, grinded, pretty much just learned like day in day out. It was pretty much my life. Like I barely did A levels.
So at this point, you're thinking, fuck education.
Pretty much, it was guaranteed that I wasn't going into uni, pretty much. And I was doing like hard subjects. I was doing maths, chemistry, physics at sixth form. And trying to balance that was pretty hard. But I knew in like year 12, year 13, I knew it was pretty much over. Like then after IMO actually, I then moved to a different company called Millionaire or B. Not a lot of people know that, but like it was actually, that was also a great experience as well. It opened my eyes to like the world of marketing and what networking can do for you. Because I saw a lot of high net worth individuals over there. Because we had like a business trip to Dubai, and you get to see like all these like crazy speeches and like people telling you how to do things, and it just kind of levels you up in a way. But then after I left that company is pretty much when I started going full in. Even I was already full in. I went there as a trader because people want me to educate. Because on my team I was like the educator. That makes sense.
Because I guess you was the best on your team.
I'm not gonna. I was basically the person who knew a lot to do with charting, but like most of them just knew about marketing, but none of them knew about charts. Which I found kind of weird because it was a trading company. So I was like, So they pretty much brought me on to teach, pretty much. Yeah.
But I guess you realize, wait a minute, I can make more money on the charts than teaching and.
Exactly.
Is that how you feel?
And that was the flip, pretty much. Then I started, we used to have funded accounts over there as well. So so they give you like 50K accounts. It was something called Blue FX. It's similar to FTMO, but it's 10 times harder because to pass trials, you only get like a small leverage pretty much. So like a 1 to 3 leverage instead of FTMO, which is 1 to 500. So the max lot size you could use was like 1. So like to pass the challenge is much harder. You have to be very consistent. So I remember passing that challenge and I was thinking, yo, this is crazy. I passed the challenge. I don't know anyone, like I haven't seen anyone ever, even till this day I still haven't seen anyone pass that specific challenge. Everyone's moved over to FTMO now because it's much easier. And then that's when it just started spiraling out of control. Cause
what age are you at this point?
What age?
Yeah, at this point.
17, 18. So year 12, year 13.
And you're thinking, this is my life now. School is a little bit out
like that trip to Dubai was during school. Like, I tell my teacher I'll be off for like 2 weeks and I'll be back in 2 weeks. I don't really tell them details because it was a bit weird. And then I came back and then.
Quick question: what are your parents thinking at the time? Like, are they thinking?
The thing is, I'm very to myself, even to my family. I don't speak to my siblings or my parents about it too much. Okay. They just know what I do, but they themselves don't ask too many questions. I don't ask like how much are you making or like how much do you have, like, and I don't tell them as well like, oh look, I just made this month. Like I keep it to myself really. What I just do is I just post on my Instagram, so I have a portfolio of just previous, like, because of from 4 years ago, I've already started like showing my journey from 2 figures, 3 figures, 4 figures, 5 figures, 6 figures, and 7 figures. It's a kind of a journey that people can follow, and like, so that's why I post it on Instagram. But even on Instagram, I don't. That's all I do on Instagram. I don't really do too much. I don't be like, yo, signals is like £50 a month. Like, you just jump on.
What do you think of those that do that, or they have other sources of income outside of trading on charts?
Yeah. Good traders that do that, it's helpful because it's just an extra income. Like, more sources of income is better, especially if you're giving out knowledge. But if it's like someone copying signals or just sending fake signals and sending them based on marketing and not actual knowledge and results, then that's when it's a bit mucky, because like it's kind of scummy if you're doing it like that, because you know yourself, you don't have the capability to trade. So how can you sell services based on it?
That's smooth. And so I remember you mentioning that when you was just mashing FX and learning, how was you learning? Was it YouTube? Was it a specific course? I personally believe to become consistent, you need to buy a course. But talk to me about your story and where you learned.
There was actually a thing on Telegram back in the day. It was a group where like it's called like free courses, and there's like literally every single course you can find up there. I never really used any of them. The way I trade is very. You don't really need too much like in-depth knowledge. Like I just capitalize on human emotion at certain times. Yeah. So that's very consistent, because like say if I took a course, another course would say something opposing to that course. So say there's a trend line, but then there's also a resistance, and then there's also a Fibonacci retracement saying this way, and then there's an indicator saying that way, and then like. It's just too confusing if you know too much and you try to implement too much. So the best thing to do, what I did, it was just I just started filtering. That's how I got into my strategy, and that's how I learned. I just knew what worked, what didn't, what worked in conjunction together, and just did things that would just increase the win rate based of a base strategy. So my base strategy is human emotion.
Trading against people in a way, would you say?
Yeah. So when you see a green candle, you feel greed, you feel excitement. You see red candle, you feel fear, greed, just like scared.
I like that. Human emotion, psychology, and whatnot. Literally taking money off traders.
Yeah, because the chart is pretty much human emotions. It's basically individuals buying and selling based on what they see on the chart. So it's pretty much the waves of emotions, and that's kind of how the market moves. Actually, it's based on speculation. So yeah, that's pretty much how I learned. I just did a lot of research on YouTube. So YouTube, Google, and that's pretty much it actually, just YouTube and Google, and especially YouTube.
I'm guessing a lot of it also comes from trial and error and your own experience in the charts, like seeing it live.
Intuition, Intuition is actually the biggest thing to my trading. That's what I mean by human emotion, because I've seen every single candle print so many times, like so over and over again for 4 years straight, non-stop. I know what this pretty much means, like in terms of just what another person's feeling on the other side of the screen. I'll be like, cool, if I'm looking at it from a perspective of another trader, what would I think? How would I feel? And then execute based off that analysis. And that's kind of just like the base of the strategy.
You mentioned 4 years straight, non-stop. Talk to me about the sacrifices you had to make to get to where you are today.
Yeah, so obviously no university. I don't really go out too much. I barely still go out even to this day.
Oh, wow. No parties, no clubs.
Like once in a very, very blue moon, like for a birthday, or like that's the only go out on special occasions. I don't go out just for fun. It would be like a special occasion. But yeah, the thing is, I want to call it sacrifice because I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy the grind, and the results speak for itself. So it's not something I regret. But I mean, I would say just social. There were just a lot of social aspects that I didn't get to do, because like most people my age are like uni, like partying, just doing crazy things and like stuff. But I believe I'm in a specific point in my life where I just have to focus and get out of the way and just grab the opportunity I have.
And before the cameras were even rolling, you were telling me, you repeat what you said.
I don't remember what I said.
So essentially, you got into a point where you're looking to not retire per se, but calm down the trading.
Yeah. Soon, I'm pretty much stopped. I plan to stop this year, pretty much. Like 90% of my time on the charts and just in in the space in general. I'm switching more to passive income, so like holding stores of value. So like when I get onto later, like NFTs. So like that's kind of a passive income generator, because over time, the ones that I have, I believe, hold value, and I believe over time, scarcity, supply and demand goes up. So I'm going to start parking my money into less speculative assets and more like yield farming, stable coins, staking, that more types of stuff. Live off that smaller income. And whenever there's opportunity to trade, I'll take it. But it got to a point where I don't need to stress too much every day anymore.
You know what I like about that? You know human emotions, so people want more and more. You reach 1 million, you want 2 million. You reach 2 million, you want 4 million. It seems like you've reached content. You feel like, cool, I've made this much, I'm calm, let me stop 9% of what I used to do and just live off the rest and as principal and get some interest on that and live off that. Where do you think that comes from? Do you feel like you as yourself helps and there's a reason why you are successful? Because it seems like you're very calm and relaxed and composed. Yeah,
it's just mainly due to past experiences. I remember when I used to flip accounts on FX, I used to flip it from like, say, 50 to 500, then flip it to like 5K and then lose it, like half of it. Because the biggest losses actually come after the biggest wins. So sometimes you need to take a step back, actually see what you've done and actually understand the amount of money that you've got and what it can actually do. And I believe that to risk all of that just to gain a bit more, and it doesn't really impact your life too much. There's not really a point. I believe that once you have a certain amount of capital, you can invest in a lot more opportunities. You know a lot more people, and it kind of like fills in itself. You don't really need to work harder the more you have. Sometimes you just have to calm a bit down.
Talking of risk, I think there's two types of traders. There's the flippers that are risking like 10% of their account trying to make big gains, and then there's the 1%ers, which I'm a part of, where it's gradual gains over a long period of time. Where would you say you fit on that scale in terms of risk management? Trading?
I'm a blend. So let me just tell you the general strategy I do then. So pretty much what I do is I have 10%, like 5 to 10% set aside in stable coins at all times in my ledger, in one of my ledgers. And whenever there's an opportunity, I transfer that into Binance or Bybit, and I go in. I go in hard. Because my opportunities, they don't come very, very frequently, actually. Because it's based off human emotions, it has to be specific conditions, specific movements, specific signals, and then I execute based off that.
How often, let's say per day or week, would you say you see trade opportunities?
It depends, like...
roughly average.
Last month, I saw a lot. Like, there was a lot. There was like 5 a week.
So it depends on the state of the market.
Exactly.
When things are popping.
But it doesn't really, if it's like consolidating, it's not as good. But if it's going up or going down, then that's the best like time when there's volatility. And essentially what I do is I make the trade, whatever I make, right? I don't add it onto the futures account. So I have a futures account. I deposit, say, 15K, right? If I make, say, 60K, I take that 60K out, deposit into spot. And no matter what the price is, I dissipate that into all of my coins, and then I keep the 15K, put it back. So I always have 15K spare, and whatever I make, I don't add it on top of the 15K. Because 15K is enough for me with leverage to make a significant amount. So then I just park that into stables, main cryptos, smaller cryptos, and that way it's like a DCA in. But that DCA is being created from the trading, if that makes sense.
Literally, the profits you're making, instead of keeping it at risk in your cross account where
it's always right now it's always at risk because crypto is still very early. Like the adoption stage we're still very early. I believe now is the time to take risks, not when it's already gone on the market where everyone owns Bitcoin right now. Like I would say, like a lot of people know about it, but not a lot of people invest in it, and not a lot of people do their time and due diligence to understand it and why it's important. So one of the big theses is there's 21 million Bitcoins in the world. Say like 2 million is lost because of people losing them in drives and just being lost in hacks. So like 2 million-ish, but there's not even like 21 million millionaires in the world. There's more. So that means not every single millionaire can own a Bitcoin. When you understand that, it means you understand that when the demand gets crazy, even owning one Bitcoin's enough. It's just gonna go parabolic, especially with the way the world's moving right now.
For those that may be a little bit confused, you used to do FX. What made you and when did you switch from FX and think, fuck this, it's crypto thing?
Yeah.
What was that switch like?
It was like a year and a half ago actually. Like I was actually full into FX. It was actually at my peak where I switched. I was happy. I was making profit.
Quick question: how much were you making from FX before you switched?
Yeah, so that was when I went from. I was around like a 5-figure trader.
5-figure.
Yeah, so nothing like how I'm in today. Like crypto made it exponential. It was like let's just put it there. So yeah, let's carry on.
What made you want to switch? Like,
Yeah.
Did you see something online? Or?
Yeah, so basically I was trading FX, but I also had an investment portfolio in stocks, right? I was very deep into stocks. Like I did a lot of research. I came across like Cathy Wood, Ark Invest. I came across like Graham Stephan and all the stock YouTubers, and I started getting really into it because I was thinking, whoa, these are talking about compound interest. $200 a week, like it compounds to $1 million when you're like 60 or whatever. So I started getting onto that when I was young. I was like, I'm young, I'm like 17, let me just start getting into that. So I was just putting in like money into the stock account, doing like, but then I came across crypto. But I already knew about crypto in like 2017 because of everyone saying, Bitcoin was crazy in 2017, went to 20K, everyone's going nuts. However, I was very skeptical when I first saw crypto again in around 2019, 2020, because just of the stigma I had. I didn't really know too much about it. I was thinking, it's a scam, like, it's a grey area, everyone's talking like it's a scam, so I didn't really look into it too much. But then I saw on like YouTube, people talk about it like the next halving cycle, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I started looking into it, because people were saying the halving cycle is when Bitcoin goes up, so I started looking into it. I put a very small amount at first, $150, and then from there, because I invested at such a low price, like Ethereum was only like 500, then XRP was like cents, it was tiny, and Bitcoin was only like 15K, and that's when I caught the parabolic run, and the 150 slowly turned into like 300. I was like, whoa, what's happening? And then slowly I just started putting more from my stock account. I just slowly transferred it over. Like every week I would add in like a K, and then it slowly compounded to around like 21. In like the span of like 3 weeks, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I told my mum as well. I remember telling her, I was thinking, yo, like, look at this. She was just like, this is a scam. Like how did you do that? She's like, you're probably getting scammed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Can you even withdraw it and stuff? That's what she was saying. But then I was like, yeah, you can withdraw and everything. And that is when I actually started doing leverage, because there was a guy on YouTube called, like, his name is like Bybit. BitBoy Crypto or something.
BitBoy,
yeah.
He put me on him.
Okay, yeah. He was talking about leverage trading. I was like, that's pretty much what FX is, and like you can pretty much like, if I did this with leverage, I would have like 100K right now. So why am I not doing this? So I allocated 3K, and the first ever trade I made, that 3K turned into 40K.
Your first trade?
Not the first trade, but like the first series of trades. Series. So like it went 3K to like 8K. I remember I woke up and it was 8K. I was like, whoa, what the hell? Because I was thinking to sister, I was like, should I sleep on this? Because it's already up 3K, right? Should I sleep on this? Like, I was like, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna go to sleep and wake up. And I woke up, it was 8K. And that's when I knew the potential of crypto. So I just started doing more research into it, and then I pretty much applied, because the way I took the trade was basically the same thing as forex. Looking for certain things. You probably know about it, honestly. Like institutional type stuff. Yeah, it's similar to that, pretty much. Like you see long candles and the big wicks, and you understand what that's doing. And then I pretty much just traded that. And then it slowly went from 3K, and then at the peak, it took around like two months. It went to 200K, and that was the first like big wow moment. And then, and I documented all of it as well.
This is 2020.
2020, yeah.
End of 2020.
End of 2020, yeah, like December, and then early 2021.
Okay.
And I documented all the trades, and I documented my thought process behind all of it, like thinking, like, oh, this is crazy, like, these are the trades I took, and why I took them and stuff.
I saw you on Instagram and Telegram you sent me, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's all in my highlights, and that's why I have my highlights, is so people can scroll back and see, whoa, how did he actually do 3K to 200K? It's like, that's a bit, that's a crazy jump. So
I'm guessing you're thinking from here, let's move from forex onto crypto. Like you're trying to allocate all your funds, or you still half?
No. After the 3K to 8K, I knew it was a completely different ball game. The volatility was crazy. The risk is higher, of course, but you can adjust the risk with stop losses and stuff. But the potential gain, if you're right, is much higher because you can let that rip. But with a stop loss, you can limit the loss you take. So I wasn't too worried about the volatility. I was more looking for volatility. I want moves to be fast. I'm not the guy that likes holding when it's down, like in drawdown. I like to know if I'm wrong straight away, pretty much.
So you're a type stop loss type of trader.
Yeah, like low, like high time frame bias, low low time frame entry. So pretty much
Like on 1 minute.
like 1 minute. Yeah. See, it's a fractal nature of the market. So whatever you see on the 4 hour will repeat on the 1 minute.
I think you got similar mentors because all the
fractals.
terminologies.
Fractals. Fractals. That nature of the market is fractal. On the 1 second is the same as 2 second chart. 3 second chart same as about 10 an hour chart. They're all the same. It's all human emotion, going up and down, people buying and selling, and that's pretty much all it is. So yeah, that's when I made the switch. When I saw that trade, I knew the potential, and I didn't even think about forex. I forgot forex existed pretty much. Like honestly, I'm not even joking. Like I was just so invested into it. Like I looked into every YouTuber, I did my due diligence. I literally looked at all the information I could possibly get, absorbed all of it, and then it increased my knowledge and it made me trade much better because I learned more about the fundamental side of crypto, which is why I have such strong conviction, which allows me to take these trades because I have strong conviction that it will go up at this time or go down at this time because of the fundamentals and what moves the market in crypto.
Yeah,
because it's different.
You see with when you're looking to trade now, do you have a set amount of cryptos you're trading, or you're just scouting the market for opportunities per se?
Could you repeat that again, please?
So, do you have a set list of like cryptos to trade, or are you just scouting the market looking for opportunities?
That's a good question actually, because I used to have a set list. I used to just trade the majors. But recently, so like the past 3-4 months, there's on Twitter, right? There's always a buzz going on. There's always a buzz. Like right now, it's FTM, which is Phantom, One, which is Harmony, and Atom, which is coins. Before I didn't even know too much about them, but generally what I do is I look for the strongest altcoins in the top 100, and I trade those because those have the most volume and those have the most potential. Because number one, if Bitcoin goes up, that goes up anyways. However, it has the added factor of hype and people talking about it. So that already boosts it an extra, say, 10% in terms of volume and, potential momentum. So I capitalize on that.
Talking of altcoins, there was one recently, Shiba. Did you ever? I know you heard of it, you've seen it. But
I traded it. It's on my story. There was one trade in around literally 2 hours. It was like 20k from 5k. Just one position. Yeah, Shiba Inu. But that's more of a community token. It's not really a serious utility token. It has utilities for sure. I'm very into that space as well, the meme space, and so I know a lot about that as well.
Talking of meme coins, did you ever get burnt? Or I'm guessing your knowledge was so high that you couldn't even get burnt. What was?
No, 100% got burnt. But it's not on those type of meme coins. It was on much smaller meme coins. It was on tokens that
like 300k market cap, like
lower than that. Like say when I was first into meme coins, it was around when Elon was pumping Doge and these random coins are popping up. So I just started looking into it and I was getting run over pretty much. But it was obviously small amounts because obviously it's high risk. I didn't know the team, you don't know the utility. But that's more of a gambling aspect. So I don't really delve into that too much, honestly. But there's ways you can get 1000x very quick if you find the right opportunity. But it's not something you can research. I mean, you can research, but it's not something you can consistently do because it's very random. You know what I'm saying? You have to get lucky.
I feel like nowadays, half of them are just rug pulls. They're looking just to sell at a certain price.
Yeah.
It's very tight. Unless you know the founders, you're not.
Exactly.
It's just
you have to be I'm in a lot of groups that vet pretty much, and I don't even touch these rugs. None of them pass through because they're vetted. So it's basically a filter. Yeah. So this group very much filters all the bad ones, and then we get the potential ones that are decent, that have a good use case, that the teams, you see their face, they're doxed, that you have the utility, and those are the ones we look into and maybe invest in, but it's not a huge part of my portfolios per se. It's say 5%. It's just whatever.
I'm guessing also stocks as well, you're thinking all your money taken out, redirected.
I'm not even touching stocks. It's too slow. The thing is, by the time I'm 60, I don't want $1 million because I can't do much with $1 million when I'm 60. I want it now because I'm young. you can invest in more opportunities, and that's how you make
and take more risk.
Generational wealth is made when you're younger because you can take more risk. But when you're 16, you have $1 million. Like, can't really do too much about that. You're pretty much just gonna give that to your family, or like you're passing it down. But realistically, you want it in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s because you're still, you can do things, you can explore, you can do pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah, literally. The whole world is your oyster, really.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Just going back a little bit, what made you want to pursue wealth? Was you doing anything before, like investing? Was you running businesses, like recently?
Oh, jeez, yeah.
What made you want to actually pursue wealth?
Pursue wealth. It's always been a thing with me and my close friend Josiah. We've always been about hustling and business, all that type of stuff. Like my first sort of business. Believe it or not, it was actually like in year 8. I was selling shisha pens, believe it or not. And they asked me how I got them.
I tried that once as well.
There was a place called Trocadero in central London where they would sell loads of shisha pens. Just to get them, we used to sell them at school. That was the first ever business I've ever done. It was with me. I think I was the only one who would sell them. And I made a lot of that actually, like £200 around that ish. Like it was all in a little honey jar. Like I had a honey clear pot. But then after that, from like year 7 to year 10, I didn't really touch too much entrepreneurial stuff. It was more sports, so I was doing basketball.
Okay. You look like a basketball. Yeah.
And games, like mobile games. Like I had the YouTube as well for like a mobile game I was playing. Yeah. That went decent as well, like 600 subscribers or whatever. I was like a squeaky voice and everything. Yeah. And then year 10, 11, me and Josiah, we actually started selling. Like you,
sweets,
so Oreos, Kit Kats, Chewits. We had a local Tesco. We pretty much go there, and then I had a local pan lad, and he had like a local like Asda or something, and he would just get pretty much that. And we did that from year 10 until 11. It wasn't really too crazy. It was pretty much normal out of school. There was quite a few people who was doing that.
But it's just extra piece to get you by, and
yeah, exactly. It was like a side hustle. It wasn't too crazy. And then obviously when I started for FX. I moved into sixth form. I can't sell that sixth form because people can just leave the building and just buy their own things. So there wasn't a business there at all. Yeah. So I stopped that and then that's when forex started.
Forex, and then go into
that's kind of like the backstory of entrepreneur.
That's really good. I like that, and I wanted to ask more about you personally. What do you do with your profits? Like, are you more of a full-on reinvest type of person, or
reinvest? Because pretty much, like there was I was thinking about myself. I was like, how have I not got anything? How have I not changed like anything in my life? Like I could have bought a car. Like I could have got like a Mercedes. Like I don't even have a license, honestly.
What cars are you into?
I'm into a lot of cars. Like I always watch like stuff to do with watches, cars, like reviews and like people like day in the lives and stuff. Like I always watch that stuff, but I never take action because I feel like there's just an opportunity. There's a risk opportunity. Like for example, like recently I had like 6K spare. And I was even gonna invest that into an NFT, which cost 6K, or just like play around with it or do whatever I want. I decided to invest into that NFT instead, because I'm just thinking like, if I take out 30K and put into a car, that 30K could be worth 300K in like a couple months from now. Like, it's like what I'm saying. That's how I balance it in my mind. I was thinking, I can't really take that's an opportunity cost right there by buying that car. And me not even leaving my house too much, like, what's the point? Where am I going? Like, I'm in London, I pretty much take an Uber everywhere I go. I don't really need a car as of now. It's more of a flex thing when I'm like going out if I need to go out. But I don't even go out, so like watches, cars, I like them for sure, but they're not on my mind right now because I know I can get them anytime I want. Watches for sure are an investment, 100%.
Definitely.
But like, if I got an NFT compared to a watch, I'm going into NFT because it's more riskier. I've done more research, and I know the potential catalyst short term that it can go up. Watches for like parking your wealth. You don't want it to decrease in value due to inflation. You just want to leave it there. Not really using it to gain money, but just to have a good thing that looks nice and holds its value. Better than a car that loses value. I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, depreciating asset. No, it seems like you're very literate in terms of financial literacy.
Yeah.
Is it just YouTube as well? That's also come from YouTube?
YouTube, IML. Just studying other individuals, seeing what they do. Just like analyzing things just from an outside perspective, seeing people that do flex, people that don't flex, and just like combining both aspects and like taking what's beneficial from both sides and kind of making my own.
Was you smart in school?
I was pretty much always in the top set. I was just doing GCSEs and stuff. Like we got like a lot of my school, like pretty much just got all A's. I think the only bad grade I had was like Spanish. Got like a C in that. But yeah, pretty much it was just education wasn't the main priority for me, but obviously my parents pushed me to do it, and I obviously don't want to let them down and stuff. But back then when I was doing GCSE, I didn't know about forex, so most of my time was I was pretty much just playing games, sports, and that's it. Now
that makes sense. And you was talking about parking and wealth. In terms of crypto now, do you hodl, or you're more of a in and out trader? So you put your money in once a certain events happen, you take it out, or you're a hodler as well? Do you practice?
Yeah, I have a blend actually. So majority of my portfolio, so 70% of that stays no matter what. 30% is liquid, pretty much. If I see certain events, like say peak market, I can take those 30%, that profit, and then just reinvest it at a lower price point, DCAing it down, just to reduce my average cost, which in the long term compounds to a much higher return than if you used to just hold 100% of it. However, there's also a risk that a lot of people are saying right now that they sell 100% at the top, but eventually the thing is you don't know what the top is, you don't know what the future holds, especially in a new market like this. You can't really predict too much. Like people are saying halving cycles, but there's only ever been like 3. You can't really use that as a super long-term data point. You just never know. Like tomorrow Elon Musk could take Bitcoin as payment again, and it just completely changed. Like the ETF could be approved. You just never know, which is why I like to stay exposed to 70%, 30% stables like DCA when you see certain opportunities, and then that 15k in stables as well for trading when I see. So that's how I amplify my gains.
On Binance, so in terms of leverage trading, what specifically is it? I think you was mentioning, is it futures, USD coin? Which specific tool are you using to trade futures? I mean, USDT.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I was speaking it to a friend over there that they're closing down Binance futures, so I'm moving off there now and moving on to Bybit, unfortunately, which is another platform, but it's pretty much the only other like non-KYC liquid exchange.
Because can you explain why the KYC things are a problem and for many crypto traders like yourself?
Yeah, just that people just want to avoid tax, honestly, because with KYC you basically tell them who you are, your identity, they know where you live, they can track your bank account, and the whole point of crypto is to be decentralized and not have anyone know your information, which is so like people don't like using centralized exchanges like Binance, so they moved more to like say KuCoin, Bybit, and more decentralized exchanges. They're centralized actually, but they don't require KYC. So, which is know your customer. So you don't need to submit your passport and your face and your address. So people like that more than showing them everything. Because people are making like millions and like life-changing money. But obviously,
So obviously, I remember you mentioned how when it comes to crypto, that's where most of your wealth is. How do you get to spend that then if not much of it is in fiat?
Yeah, that's a good question. So one thing you can do is there's a site called Bitrefill. If you have crypto, you can exchange crypto for gift cards. So they have gift cards such as Amazon, like Enquiries, just like you need Wayfair, like there's Debenhams, like clothes, Selfridges, like Hardy Nichols, like pretty much any shop, anything you need, gyms, Deliveroo, Uber Eats, Uber.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so like I pretty much have like 1k in my Uber account at all times just for like travel. From crypto, just deposit into a gift card, use it. You don't need to withdraw anything to your bank, because I don't withdraw anything to my bank. I keep everything on ledgers, multiple ledgers, and they're distributed across multiple different areas, just to spread wealth, because you don't want to concentrate wealth in one area, because if that gets hacked or someone gets stolen or something happens, you don't want to just risk it all just on one little device. You want to spread it across like 10, 20 years. You don't want to mess around when it comes to that type of stuff.
Literally, security is everything.
Yeah, because it's digital, innit? You don't really want to mess about too much.
Cool then. So when it comes to crypto, what would you say? Okay, what's your latest trade? Like, you could talk them through your latest trade. And what was your best trade?
Latest trade, I would show you, but I can't really show you. But it was a smaller trade. It was
show them on the screen, like
It was a trade actually. Like I actually have a channel, like a channel that I do talk about certain things. Like we was doing a 2K challenge, so that 2K went to 10K, and that 10K went to 29K. and then I withdrew that, put that into crypto, because we're currently the market's currently receiving a correction right now. Some would call it a crash, whatever. I do see it as a crash very much actually. Prices go down exponentially pretty fast. It wasn't a gradual drop; it was pretty sharp. So in these situations, I just take advantage of it because I know in 2-5 years, it's not going to really be relevant. In terms of the price, because I know I'm a long-term believer and I understand where it goes long-term, so I don't really worry about it too much. So that's the most recent trade. Just doing like a little fun challenge with my peoples, just showing them like what could be done actually, because a lot of people do message me about like saying I don't have capital, but we can actually talk about that later because I think capital actually is very important when it starts to trading. Because
what would you say your best trade, the most?
My best trade was, in terms of ROI, it would be like the 3K in one single trade, right?
I mean, a series, like, you have a trade idea, you might be making multiple entries.
In a series, it's the 3K to 200K. That's definitely for sure. But like the worst single trade was a big investment though. Like normally I do 15, but this one was 73K in. Wow. Yeah, 73K in.
What made you wanna, in a way, break your rules and?
It was a very special setup, and it was something that I don't see even a lot. It was when multiple events combined. Like it was pretty much guaranteed when I saw it. I was like, yo, like this has to be like the one.
Can you share what coin that was?
It was I don't invest in a specific coin. I average over the strongest altcoins. Remember, so whatever the hype is known, I know which ones recover faster. So say on a big crash, the strongest altcoin will always recover faster. So you want to buy that one on leverage because that one, recovers faster compared to Bitcoin. Say if it recovers, it goes up a bit. But if this altcoin increases much faster, that makes sense. So I average across the 3 to 5 strongest altcoins. So like BNB, XRP, Dogecoin, for example. This is not what I trade, but it's like just separate into 3. Just in case one underperforms, the other 2 hyped ones should overcome it. But most of the time, they all go up very, very quick. And that allows me to get very, very quick. I pretty much know if I'm right or wrong straight away, because if I'm catching the bottom of the wick, so say it drops down, I know like I'm catching pretty much the bottom. If I'm wrong, then pretty much stop loss hits. If I'm right, it literally gets a big wick pullback, and I literally caught the bottom with high leverage and high capital investment, and that's how you're able to get high ROIs, because you're basically getting at the bottom. So when it's like here, you have so much time to react. If it goes down a bit, you can react a bit, you can pull some profits. If it goes down, you use that break even. It doesn't matter, you don't lose. And that's why it's such less risk that way. That's why I can go in such high leverage and such high capital, because I'm not actually risking that much.
So you're waiting for many confluences to come into play. You're not waiting for one indicator or whatever.
No, not at all. Like I don't look at indicators pretty much at all. It's probably like 5% part of the strategy, but it's like nothing major. So that was the best trades. That one was 73K, and that one went to 230K just from the 73. That's just in terms of mass gain. It was the biggest by far, just because of the conditions. Like it was the peak bottom. I caught the peak bottom, high leverage, highest capital inputted. And I said it on the channel as well. I was like, this is, like, I'll put it here as well. It was like, this is the biggest like trade I've done. And
it's something crazy. And then it seems like, talk to me about the importance of, okay, a lot of pro traders talk about remaining, in terms of your emotions, remaining calm through big wins and losses. So I'm guessing throughout that big win, would you say your emotions were calm? Was you screaming around the house? Or
No. I'm never screaming around the house because, like I said, I understand. In the past, my biggest losses have always come after my biggest win. So I know whenever I get a big win, I barely look at the charts. I just close it, I just go on my day, forget it happened. And I always make sure I withdraw, because in the past, there was times where, say, I made money, but then because I didn't withdraw it, say my spot account, I would lose it again. I was like, so I basically just wasted the trade for no reason. So I always instantly transfer it over. So I make sure I don't, go into another trade straight away. That way I stay, disciplined. And you have to be disciplined. Otherwise, if you like let off even just one point, like there's one time like I left the screen to like go brush my teeth, and I lost a crazy amount of money. Like say like 20K in like just one trade. Just because I went to because sometimes when you say you're in a trade and a crazy move happens, sometimes the stop loss doesn't trigger. because
the slippage.
Yeah, the slippage is just too much, because it was too fast.
And when it eventually clocks, it's
already
well below.
it's already way past. So in hindsight, I couldn't really do too much. But then I blame myself a lot for not monitoring it, because maybe I would have seen it and quickly just exit. But yeah, that's just a loss. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter at all, because you lose. That's the whole game of trading. You lose and then you gain. That's the whole point. You just need to make sure you gain more than you lose, and much more than you lose. Otherwise, you're going to be underwater, and it's not something you want to do.
What they say is losses are the cost of doing business when it comes to trading.
Exactly, and I see that in the real world as well. Like when you have to pay, I had to pay 2-3K for my MacBook. I'm like, it's faster. I was like, more screen, it's faster. Like that translates into high output, and again, making you more money eventually. So
talking of MacBooks, how many screens do you trade with?
Just actually my phone, my PC and MacBook. I don't trade on multiple screens. You don't need multiple screens. You just need to wait for a specific condition in the market, execute. People that have multiple screens, I just find it unnecessary. It does look nice that you can see more things, but it's not needed if you know what you're doing and you know what you're looking for. It's very quick. Like people think you're just there. You're just thinking it's more like, okay, it's there. Execute, that's it, and then you just watch it. And manage it. And me watching and managing my trades, you learn a lot because you understand how the candles form, and you understand. And I put myself if I was in this situation, what would I do? How would I feel? And every time I watch a candle, I would sell here, and then it goes up. I was like, okay, cool. Now I know not to be impulsive. Wait for certain things, and that's kind of how I learned, just watching it.
Playing games.
Playing games whilst I'm watching. Yeah, like I'll sell here. I'll buy here. Would I be right or wrong if I was to do that? That's what I did
I do that.
for a long time. Just to
So cool. As a trader now, in terms of you talk about discipline, what things would you say are necessary? So let's talk about your schedule in terms of do you like D&D on your phones? You're close to the outside world, no music while you're trading. Or what conditions do you need to be in the most optimum performance per se? Yeah,
ultimately silence. Because when you're trading, time goes fast. You pretty much block out everything anyways. But I want silence. I don't want any distractions. I generally don't talk to people. I don't speak to anyone on social media pretty much. When I reply to people that I need to reply to, I take very long to reply to people. Just because I'm just so focused and I'm so into it. I need to make sure nothing can go wrong. Especially when you're dealing high sums of money, you don't want to play around too much because a small mistake can cost you a lot in this space. So silence. I have post-it notes on my screen as well saying there's always another trade. Don't trade. Withdraw. So those three are always there no matter what. Just like a mental reminder. It's good to have someone something to just remind you in the moment when emotions are high or you might feel down or you might feel up. It's good to have those there, and that's pretty much it. Just silence.
Do you journal all trades? Do you journal all your trades? So write down let's say you took a trade and you won. You write down the stats this is a percentage of how much you went up by. Oh, you don't journal?
I don't need to because whenever I make gain, I withdraw it instantly. It's not like I'm compounding an account to build it up into say. My trading account is on 5K, I want to build it to 1 million. It's literally there, so 5K, whatever I make, take away, 5K is still there. It's not like I'm trying to ladder it up, if that makes sense. It's literally for a quick boost of income, quick crash grab of the market.
Yeah, and I guess, let's say you lose the 5K, I'm guessing just reimburse it.
Replenish it, and that's why it's such a small amount. Because it's big enough to where it can grow to something crazy, but it's not small enough if I was to lose, say, 2K of it due to a stop loss being hit. It's nothing, because I still have 13K left. And in crypto, you can change 2K into 100K pretty much very quickly, like 3K to 200K. So it's not really a problem if it ever hits stop loss. And if it does hit stop loss, it'll be very small because I'm already entering at peak lows or peak highs. When it's already so low, it can only go so much more, considering,
so you must,
conditions.
In terms of the way you're describing strategy, you must get swerved a lot. So for example, you may have thought it was coming here, but your entry's here and it's come here and gone off without you, or do you have limits? Do you have limits per se, or is it?
No, I don't set limits. It's manual. It's manual. It's all to do with confirmations, all to do with intuition, and all to do with understanding how market structure works. So when you see a confirmation, you just enter, set a stop loss to where the invalidation area is, and that's pretty much it. And it has to be a specific condition, which gives you a higher win rate. And there's a difference between buying high and selling low. and buying high and selling low the way I do it, because it's more rare. It's not like an everyday thing.
Yeah. Those watching maybe thinking, rah, I want to be like this guy. I want to learn from you. Do you offer anything like?
Currently, not really.
And why is that?
I don't really have time right now. I'm just already. Like if I was doing a trade and I have to tell someone to do it as well, it's stressful, because they're gonna be asking me questions whilst I'm trying to watch the trade, and it will be too hard for me to concentrate on two things, and like me constantly updating like a group or whatever, like whilst I'm in a trade, when all I want to do is just focus on the trade. It's something I didn't know until I was actually doing it. So I used to have a group. And I was thinking, and then like sometimes I just completely forgot to update the group, just because I'm literally in the trade. I was making money. I was like, cool. I'm just updating my positions, like just slowly scaling up my stop loss and all of that stuff. And then my other group just waiting for the updates to like move it to break even and all that stuff, and like which coins I'm taking and then why. So until I stop trading like full on, I won't be offering services. But obviously, if anyone has questions or like
DMs.
Yeah, DMs, man. But yeah, that's more of a future thing in the future when I want to expand out more.
Yeah, no, smooth. How much? It's kind of hard to ask you but how much did you start off with? Maybe FX, but crypto you started off with bare because of FX. But how much? Yeah, how much did you start off trading with? Would you say?
When FX?
Yeah.
Jeez, pretty much nothing actually. It was just
2 figures, 3 figures.
It was like two, 3 figures, pretty much. Yeah, because I was 16, I didn't have a job. The biggest check I had was like £800. It was from pretty much IML, from like being the trader and helping out others. I was rewarded like £800. I used that to buy a PC, which then pretty much that's what I used. And then from there it's very murky. It was just small amounts, just flipping, flipping and just teaching others. So, and even with crypto, I'd started off with only like 5 figures, like max put in,
and then
like
there,
two to 7K I put in max, and then from there on, I didn't really need to input too much more because it was already generating so much so quick. Like, I couldn't really believe it because it was so fast.
Yeah, seeing numbers go up on your screen while you're in lockdown, it's like
surreal, pretty much. Yeah.
I think it took you a while to even realize that, oh wow, this is actually proper money. Like,
yeah, even to this day, I see a big balance. Like, I don't like if I put the cash in front of me, I would be like, whoa, no worries. Like, even say like 10K I saw in front of me, I was like, whoa, that's kind of a lot of money. Like, that's 10K. That's like pretty much nothing in crypto. Like 10K is literally, you just throw that away. Like, pretty much, you just throw that into any investment you want. And you see on the table, it's like, whoa, that's like kind of a lot. So it kind of bridges the reality, but that's why it allows you to take so much risks, but it also could potentially make you lose a lot because you're kind of desensitized. And I feel like a lot of people are desensitized from digital money. It's like kind of like buying things online rather than buying things in person. Like, you see the actual cash in hand when you're giving it, it feels much worse. But if it's online, it's digital, it's much easier to make that transaction. It's kind of like that. But even to this day, it's still not really hit me. Just because I haven't really done anything with the money so far. Like, I haven't bought a new car, I haven't bought a watch. I haven't bought like something like the most expensive thing I bought so far, like in the real world at least, is the MacBook, which is like 3K.
And that's for your business too.
And that's for my business, exactly. It's not really for like luxury. Yeah, exactly. That's the like my PC. Now I'm thinking about it, actually, my PC costs less than my Mac, like by a lot. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, my PC was only like 2K. I got upgraded obviously. But then, yeah, my MacBook's quite expensive actually.
Yeah, I know you mentioned the 20K loss, but was there any other losses that you really learned some powerful lesson that you can share to the audience?
Yeah, it was around pretty much the same time. It was like around then. It was like in the early stages. So it went from 3K to 200K. Then I lost, say, when I lost 15K, the next one of the following days. Just doing a stupid trade, just like, it wasn't really on my conditions. I just saw it like, when you win so much, like you don't even feel like you can lose. So I just did the most stupid thing ever. I just started traded this random move, and I just lost 15K just pretty much for no reason. Like, it was not calculated, and that was when I realized you need rules, you need discipline, and from then you just cannot deviate pretty much from the type of trades you do. And that was a very big lesson, because 15K back then, that was like, it was pretty much quite a lot, because I was thinking like 200K, like buying this, man, like 15K compared to 200K is not a lot, but still for me it was kind of It's heartbreaking.
You just made 200, so losing 15 is like...
Yeah, because it was like one of the first reds. It was pretty much the only red for like 2-3 days, and I was like, whoa, that's a lot. And the average loss before was only like 1k and like 500. So like when it's such a big deviation from loss, like 15k from like a 1k loss, like whoa, like, did I actually lose? That's like equivalent of 15 losses like I would normally make. So it was crazy scary for me. I was thinking, okay, I need to just calm down now.
Yeah, well. Even with efforts now, just going back to efforts, how much would you say you lost before you became profitable?
I was pretty much losing money for like 1 to 2 years straight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was literally...
This is what they don't tell you, like, guys, he's got to this place just right, but carry on though.
Yeah. You have to lose to understand, because without losing, you can't improve. You don't know your mistakes. And everyone loses. It's no-brainer. It's just how much you lose. I would flip, I would lose, I would flip, I would lose. Losing was normal.
It became normal.
It was kind of like a net sum game, like I'll make it and lose it, make it and lose it, make it and lose it. But during those times, I learned so much. It built my mentality because I understand that seeing red, I don't care about red anymore. Like I see it, it's part of the game.
So
like,
when the social media is waking up to minus 10%, that's just like, oh, to you,
yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like I'm like right now crypto's down like 40%, but I just understand like it's moves and waves, like it happens. Like I wasn't crying, like it's literally up way more than it was like last year. Like last year was like 20k this time. Like I understand that this time last year I had nothing. This time last year I was, like I'm nowhere near as I am now. So you just be grateful and understand the situation of the market and understand that long term it's going up. And you combine all those together, it keeps you level because you're just thinking about things from a logical perspective instead of understanding, I just lost like this much. I could have had this, I could have bought that. That's when you start, messing with your head. And that's when I learned to just. Did
you ever have a mentor on
mentor
your journey on the way to where you are now? Maybe you might have some now, but like
no mentors now, no mentors before.
Peers,
all by myself.
Peers like maybe I've been trading alongside you, like you might have.
Peers from maybe my group, like people that come to me to learn, but no one like really putting me on like you need to make sure to do this and make sure to do that. It's more like me just analyzing other people's things and like learning, like because most things with trading is most of the things you can self-interpret, like, so no, I never like had a mentor that I paid like for a course and like strictly stuck with them and be like, yo, teach me like this and that. What do you do then? What do you do this? What do you do that? It was more like just inspiration, just looking around, stuff like that. But it was never like mentor type vibe.
Oh wow, that's very big. That's very big. I like to see that the fact that you've done it all on your own, full on self-made. Like that's the definition of self-made.
Yeah. It did take quite a while, and it would take probably longer than if I was to have, say, guidance or so. But I just understood from the first experience I had with just Instagram traders. It's just that I understand that like 99% of people out there, 99% of traders lose money, so 90% of traders online will probably lose money as well. Like shit. So I didn't know who to trust. Didn't want to just trust anyone because I knew that if I just worked hard. Because that's kind of my mentality, just work hard and understand. A
lot of traders out there, like myself, we're now moving towards funding companies. What do you think of funding companies? Do you think there's a way forward?
That's pretty much what I did, like I said, with the Blue FX and FTMO. Around that time was when I stopped leaving, when that hype started coming in, started kicking in. With the company I was with before, they handed out funded accounts as well. So I pretty much always had a funded account. I never traded with my own capital pretty much. So everything I made was pretty much mine. And I never had to lose anything because the company just was handing out 50k funded accounts pretty much always. Funded accounts are good. It's good. I'll tell you why it's good. Because number one, you get to leverage your money. Number two, high potential. If it goes well, you can create much more than if you was to say pay the subscription. Like, what's the subscription like 250 like a month?
Some do challenges. So you do challenge, you pay like $500, you get 100k account.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So like $500, like what you can do with $500, you can flip it like 2k. But if you pass the challenges and actually get funded, then the possibility is much better, and it rewards actual traders. It's very good. In terms of that
quick question. Obviously, that's for FX. Do you know of any funded companies for crypto, or it's just not a thing?
There's no prop firms. There's no demo accounts in crypto. There's like you can't even find a demo account on crypto with any exchange. You cannot do paper trading pretty much. Everything's like because it's so new. Like there's not really a demand for that because all the people that are in crypto now are just people that already understand the space, been in the space. It's not really for like newbies trying to learn. There is a space for that, but until like mass adoption comes on and everyone starts piling in. That's when you probably see that come up in some sort of way.
Yeah. And as a trader, how important is it for you to ignore outside sources and noise per se? Like you must hear, someone saying this is going to go long.
Yeah.
And it might be contradicting to your point of view. How important is that to you as a trader?
It is very important to me because it makes me understand the sentiment of the world, kind of. So if I know that everyone's trying to go long or everyone's trying to go short, then I need to have kind of if I'm long with them, I need to understand like, well, if everyone in the world is long, who's short, who's selling to these buyers, right? So you have to think from that perspective, like maybe this run is going on for way too long because everyone's just too bullish right now. When things are going euphoric and everyone's like, it's only up, like everything's going crazy, like coins that shouldn't even be going up, that's when you need to understand that that's when the market's kind of like needs to calm down. So that's when you kind of take a step back. So it's good to understand the sentiment of the market because it allows you to have an opposing view and understand if they're wrong, what could happen, and it allows you to see things from two perspectives.
Rather than just investing blindly.
And just following everyone, just like it's gonna go up, and then pretty much. Because by the time they say it's going up, it's too late. The opportunity's already gone. It's already exponential. That's why they're saying it's going up. So you want to get in.
Social media,
Exactly. You want to get in when it's boring. When people are accumulating. Accumulating. When you want to start building positions, that's when you want to get in. Don't want to get in that.
No, that's
peaks. But that's for spot though. And like, it goes for the same for trading anyways. You don't want to be investing when you don't want to be putting in a buy when there's already like 10 green candles. You don't want to put in a sell when there's 10 red candles.
Yeah. In terms of cryptos that you obviously as you're trading, you're learning the fundamentals, you're understanding all the white papers of some of these cryptos. Which cryptos, let's name 3 that you fully believe in and you just back like
The thing is, my main holdings, I don't want to disclose them too much, but I would say three safe ones. Bitcoin, because obviously that's just the backbone of everything. That's how it all started. It's the highest market cap. It's the safest. It drops the least. It increases the least, but it has a stable market cap, which is what you need for stability. And you don't want to be investing too much into other more volatile assets. Majority of your portfolio should be in more stable assets. So Bitcoin, number 1. Number 2, Ethereum. Mainly based off the adoption it already has. So there's already companies all over the world that's already adopted it. There's already hedge funds building on top of it. There's already ETFs for it. There's already a whole community behind it. There's already like customer support for it. Like there's already like wallets for it, like hardware wallets like MetaMask support it. Everything's already supported for it. So there's like, if there's ever any problem, there's already developers on that chain to help out and change and develop and innovate. And everything's pretty much being built on Ethereum right now. NFTs, everything's being built on Ethereum right now. Everyone's calling for Ethereum to top Bitcoin. So, and there's also another safe bet because it's a high market cap. So you want to have those 2 pretty much in your portfolio at all times. And then the rest, I would just say, do your own research of white papers, whatever you like. Have like a mix of mid caps, low caps, ones that are more risky, ones that are more, built already. So that's kind of my general advice when it comes to building a portfolio. Have the 2 big ones, and then whatever you want, just fill in with your own research. Don't really listen to anyone else. Do your own research. Always do your own research, pretty much.
No, that's smooth.